Delighted to be having here right in our studio, makeshift studio here at Fenway Park, Lamar Valentina, 37 years old, who has been diagnosed and battling renal medullary carcinoma.
Renal medullary carcinoma.
Medullary carcinoma from Valley Stream, New York. Member of the Air Force.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for your service.
Thanks for your support.
And as that is the case, I got to ask you, because my son served for 5 years in the United States Army, and I know what you guys are like, and it's all about service to others. But when something like this happens that affects your life as dramatically and it's your physical health, it flips things, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's pretty difficult. You know, you want to be tough for those around you, and you don't want to rely on so many people. You want that independence. But honestly, you need to. You need to. Your support system, your team is what's going to get you through this.
You thought originally that it was a different form of cancer because what you have is very, very rare. It's more or less a kidney problem.
Yeah, I was actually diagnosed with lung cancer at first, and I was shocked because I don't smoke. And I learned a lot about lung cancer at that time, that most people that are diagnosed aren't smokers either. So I was diagnosed there, and then I got out here. I was in New York, and then I came out to Dana-Farber, and they got the correct diagnosis.
Were you confident that when you came to Dana-Farber, because of the reputation, not only in the United States but worldwide, that they would find what was ailing you?
Oh, absolutely. And my doctor, I think he was here earlier, Dr. Bradley McGregor. He's actually Air Force as well. So we kind of just clicked, and you just feel at ease. Great deal of comfort. Just being able to talk, share that jargon, share that history with each other. It was a great relationship started at that point.
Speaking of relationships, I know you're very close to your son, Lamar Jr., and we're reading about you that you guys hanging together, love to watch Jeopardy.
Yep.
When Alex Trebek, who was obviously a cancer sufferer as well, and that was very public. But when he was going through all of that, and you're watching him battle it and still going to work every day and still performing at a high level, how big was that for you? It
motivates you. It motivates you and inspires you that someone's going through the cancer that he was going through, which is one of the most gruesome ones that you could go through from what I was hearing. To see that he's still up there, professional, humble, like I said, it's motivating and inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you were told you had stage 4.
Yeah.
So that must have been a devastating diagnosis.
When you get the diagnosis initially, you ultimately think of it as, the end, the sentence. It's like, all right, that's it. Stage 4 is like right before the end, so you just really have to dig yourself out of a dark space.
And has it spread?
It did spread, but actually throughout the treatment, I've been doing treatment since 2019. We're actually down to one spot, and I start radiation next week on the 29th.
Now, dumb question. Do you get excited about that?
It's a crazy question, but it makes sense because, yeah, you do. When you get so close to the finish line and you're going through something like this, and this is something that's going to help you to get closer and closer to being no evidence of disease, yeah, you do get kind of excited. As weird as it may sound, right?
And there was a surgery involved as well?
Yes, I had a radical nephrectomy on my left kidney.
It's amazing when you talk about this, because as you're speaking in such a humble way about everything you've been through, this destroys people's lives, and it doesn't disrupt, it can destroy your life, and yet on you go, bravely facing it every day and all the different rounds of treatment, and you can see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely, and I mean, it's definitely given me a lot more perspective in my life and how I live my life, and make sure I make the days count instead of counting the days. I think that's ultimately what life is about. We get so caught up in thinking about the worst case scenario, but it's like, instead of just living a fulfilling life each day, trying to laugh and be happy and make those around you happy, that's what life's ultimately about.
And your son would be here, but he's playing football, right?
Yeah, he's got football practice. He's getting ready for his JV season.
At Watertown High.
Yep, quarterback.
Quarterback.
Yes, sir.
So, one of my questions is, as a father, as Joe is as well, and Joe's a grandpa many times over, how do you tell your loved ones when they come to you and say, and in your case, at one point, stage 4 cancer, how do you do that?
In the beginning, it was very rough. In the beginning, it was a lot of ifs. So, if, and then I kind of started to navigate out of that with the treatment and the confidence that I was able to get at Dana-Farber, and that if became more of a win. And worst case scenario if it doesn't, but ultimately it's more of a when I beat this, not if I beat this.
Yeah.
So the mental aspect of what you learned at Dana-Farber was huge, huh? The
Absolutely.
psychological.
Absolutely. And there's so much great things that go on over there at the Zakem Center with the doctors, the medical teams. I've been able to do acupuncture, yoga, massages, different things that kind of help you mentally throughout this process as well to focus and lock in.
So everything that patients say about Dana-Farber is absolutely true. You don't have any doubt that it's the best place in the world. If you're unlucky enough to be diagnosed with some form of cancer, leukemia, this is the place to be.
This is absolutely the place to be. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Well, we know you're a native New Yorker, and you are a Yankee fan.
Joe let it out of the bag right there.
Oh, I'm a Red Sox fan when they're not playing the Yankees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're a native New Yorker. That makes sense. So where do you make your home now?
I live in Valley Stream, Long Island, right on the borderline of Queens and Long Island.
So we were talking about, obviously the Yankees have a great baseball team. They've won 75 games. They were rolling on a historic pace, but then hit a very tough patch in the road.
Yeah.
And, I think for someone like you, you probably look at it and go, I'm a fan, but it's nothing. It's nothing compared to what I've been through. And sometimes people need, the average guy like me needs that reassurance that, there's a lot more important things going on in the world, like battling stage 4 cancer if you're diagnosed as such.
Oh, absolutely. And that's, like I said, that's another thing that I've learned as well. What's important? The little things. So often before all this happened, I would focus and be stressed over so many things that ultimately, when you think back about it, really do they matter in the great scheme of things? So you just got to focus on, like I said, your happiness and the happiness of your loved ones and your family.
Yeah, it's very true because we mentioned Jerry Remy, great Red Sox broadcaster, in the last segment, and he got to that point in his life, many bouts of cancer, but don't you think he changed a great deal, Joe, by the end?
Oh, I think he became a lot more introspective and appreciated
and didn't sweat the little stuff, which he used to do a lot, but in the last several years of his life, not so much.
Absolutely. I got to go to the fantasy camp with the Red Sox and Corsi, and his story as well is very inspirational.
Corsi, we lost him last fall.
Yep.
And I know he left urging people to get tested.
Yeah, the impact that he left, and a lot of the campers that did meet him personally, I didn't get the chance to, but same thing. Don't sweat the little things, and just a great ball of light.
I hope you're well enough to come back to fantasy camp soon.
If I'm invited back, I made some friends, even though they knew I was Yankee fans as well, and I didn't do too bad on the baseball side of it either. So.
Yeah. What do you play position-wise?
Right field.
Right field. Got a good arm?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And power, I bet. You're big and strong.
I batted .409 down there at fantasy camp, so I'm not going to toot my own horn.
.409.
Yeah, well, I know some managers are going to recruit you. Maybe drive Nixon and Brian Daubach or Keith Folk. They'd love to have you on their team.
Oh, those are great guys. Spending time with those guys in January down in Fort Myers was freaking awesome.
Lamar Valentina, 37 years old. Best of luck to you, my friend. Again, thank you for your service to this country, and so great to see you doing well.
Thank you so much.